importing. So you have to use your same PROC import procedure, right?
Yeah. Just output SAS data set must be provided.
Yeah, out equal to you have to specify a dataset name.
Yeah, I have already specified that. You can have a look once.
Okay, you can just share your code with me. Okay, proc import out equals so and so. DBMS is equal to CSV replace. What's the error? Run the code.
Yeah. This is an error.
Okay, go back to your code.
Yeah.
Okay, the problem is you've given a semicolon, I think, after your data file statement. Remove that semicolon because this entire thing is one sentence. Remember? Till
Oh, yeah.
replace, it is just one sentence. Yeah. Now try and run it with your run. With your run. Yeah. Yeah. You will still get an error. Open
Yeah.
what's error?
Library name I have to assign it.
Okay, so you might have to reassign that.
Yeah, again I need to.
What's error now?
Library name is not assigned.
Go to your code.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, see, you have written it the other way around. Uh, library name here is QUE1, right?
Yeah.
So first
It's
should be library name dot dataset name. So it should be QUE1 dot your credit or whatever name you want to give. Dot yeah, that should be fine. Okay.
Even I'm getting the same error.
Go back to your code. Appropriate authorization level error you're getting, is it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then let it be. You can just put in your work library for time being. This error is because there is some, authorization issue with the libraries, the folders that you can use on server. Sometimes it happens. So just try it with work library for time being. Like,
But I'm getting the same one too.
what is your error? Can you share your screen?
The same one I'll show you.
Sai, if you can just in your out statement, out equal to, just make it as the dataset name.
Okay.
Put it into work and run it again.
I don't need to specify the library name, right?
Yeah, here. So let's just assume that you do not specify in the library name, and let's put it in the temporary library for timing. Yeah. Open your log window, Anisha.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it done?
Can you see my screen?
Okay, I can see your screen now. Where's your open your log window? User doesn't have. Okay. So I think it's with the library that I've created. So just try and see, the library that you're trying to create is SAS help. You can't create SAS help library. I mean, that is the users don't have access to make any changes into the datasets or any changes to that particular folder of SAS. You can just try creating your own your paths to your own folder, some other folder basically. Or for time being, just make it as work library, and you can try out with the library later.
No, I did not get you. I mean, my own
See,
folder, I don't have any folder, right? Or do you
you
want me
can
to
create
create
it,
a
right?
folder?
You can
Oh,
create it.
okay. Okay, okay.
Sai, it's done. It's imported.
Yeah, it's inputted. Yeah, I was
Okay, good. Yeah, so you can try the next things. Yeah. So, Anusha, you can just put it into work library for now and try and use the input.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you want me to put it in work library?
Yeah.
How do I do it? Can you please tell me? I forgot.
From your code. So in your out, remove this part. Remove the library part. Just keep the dataset name. Out statement. Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can just write work dot.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if you don't write, it will go to work because that's the default library. And always write a run statement at the end of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got it now.
So we can try out the next questions.
Okay.
Can you look at my error once?
Okay. Can you just move to
This
your
is
code
while
window?
printing the data.
Go to your code window. Can you move to your code? Yeah.
Yeah.
Top print data equals. Okay, put n at the end. Don't put n in the beginning. Put n after first OBS.
It's out of the brackets, right?
Yeah, outside. Or give a space, it's better. Give a space between the bracket and n.
She asked.
Is it done? So let me also quickly write the solution here. Proc import data file equals the path of the file. Yeah, and then I have my house equals. So let me just create a library before this. That's create name, library reference name. Give it as U1, right? So the problem why you're not able to connect to this particular folder as your library is because it's under my content. So you can try creating a new folder at your end and try using that path. So you can try that out. So here, this. So it's always library reference name dot dataset name. So let's say this is the dataset name, then DBMS, I have to mention, which is CSV and replace. And always in the code, it's a run statement, right? So that's the first part of the question. Yeah. So to know how many observations and variables are there, what I do is I do proc contents data equals the dataset name, that is q1 dot edit run. So in case I want it in the order of creation, what I do is I write a random option here, right? Yeah, so I know there are 1000 observations and then there are 21 variables, out of which all 21 variables are of data type numeric, correct? And then I'm expected to do a proc print data equals dataset name, right? And then I just try first, since I know there are 1000 observations, equals 950, and I will add a title to it. Let's run this. Yeah. So here we have the result, right? So there's 51 observations, so obviously I'll have to start with 951, correct? So this is how, so the best thing is that, the more errors you commit in your codes, that's the best way to learn. So now you know when you have an error message, where are the places that you can look into, right? So in case of Sai, we got an error saying output the file is not there even after specifying. So the reason was there was a semicolon even before that, so it will not read beyond that point, right? So things like that. Okay. So as in how you keep practicing, you'll get more and better hand of how these things work. Right. So let's continue from here. Right. So this is what we did in the earlier session, and basically we did a lot of codes, understanding how to import text files using in-file statement, right? We have seen different types of text files, how they can be imported with different structure, and what are the different options and operators that you will be using, right? So, and we did see some of the options that go with proc print, like var statement, first OBS and OBS, and things like that. So today we'll continue from where we had last left. So that is, we'll see, firstly, how do we create a copy of a data set so that we can make some changes and make some manipulations onto the data set.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So that's obviously going to I mean, data set. Under this, the first one is we'll be seeing how to create a copy of a data set, right? So there are different ways of creating a copy of a data set. One is a PROC copy procedure that is there, but that is just literally used to just copy paste your data sets from one library to the other. Okay,
Mhm.
but if you want to make some changes into the data set and save it into a different with a different name, then what we generally use is a data and set statement. So this is a data set again, called as data and set statements to do this job of copying the data set. So how that works is it's always data. You type in the destination data set. Okay. This is the syntax that I'm writing. And after this, you write set. Here you always specify the source data set. Right? So this simple code will create a copy of the source data set into this destination data set. So let's just see how we can do that. Let's say we want to create a copy of this data set called class, which is there in SAS help, into work library, right? So how do we do that? So data destination file. So when I say I want to create a copy of class from SAS help to work, then which is my source file, which is going to be my destination file?
Works.
Yes, work's going to my destination file. So I can write work dot, or if I don't want to write it, I can just leave it alone. What is the dataset name? So let's say class underscore, right? And set, which is my source file, SAS help dot class. Correct? So this simple code will create a dataset called class underscore copy under work library, which is from SAS help library to dataset called class. Okay. So let's just run this code and see how this works. Yeah. So here we have, you can see the table name is work.class underscore copy. So if you go to your work library, you will see there's a class underscore copy data set. So the entire data set has been copied.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So similarly, let's say uh, I'll ask you to just copy cards data set from as cell to work. Can you just write a code for this?
Mhm.
Let me know once it's done.
Yep.
Yeah, so the code looks pretty simple. Data, so I can just write cards underscore copy because by default it is work library always. Set has helper cards. Right? So this simple code copies cards data set into my work library. So now let's say I want to copy this cards, I want to create one more copy of this cards underscore copy, which is there in work library, with a name as some other name into work library itself. So can you tell me what this code does? Can you tell me what this code does?
Just copies.
Yeah, it copies within the same library also.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say I want to do a copy of credit within Q1. Q1 dot. So Q1 is a library that I created just some time back. Dot credit underscore one. Set Q1 dot credit. So what this will do is a dataset called credit underscore one will be created, which is nothing but a copy of dataset called credit, which is there in Q1. So in my Q1 now I have two datasets, right? That is credit and credit underscore one, right? Yeah, so that's how you can use data and set statement to create copies of datasets within the same library as well as within across different libraries. So both the ways. Okay, now I have a simple question here. So let's say cars underscore copy, cars underscore one, set cars underscore one. So what will happen in this case?
Nothing happens. You not give the source file. I mean, you give cars one, but you don't give the library name.
So by default, where will it go when I don't specify library name?
Work. I think
Work,
it
yeah.
would become an
So okay, let's run this. See, this is same as writing work dot, correct? So what will happen in this case? So one is saying, one of you is saying that there will be an error, and Anusha is saying that nothing will happen. So let's see what
I
exactly
think if
happens.
we give an replace command, it would work properly.
Well, actually, that is an interesting part here. Even without the replace command, it will still work. But now it's basically getting overwritten. If you would have, in case you would have done, okay, wait a minute. Let me just go here. I think the earlier data set itself is, I have not run that data set. I have not run the earlier code. This code I have not executed. Yeah, now it should be fine. Yeah, so now when I run this code, yeah. So what is happening is it's basically overwriting the same thing. So cars one is getting overwritten, and since it's, the name is the same, the file gets overwritten. Just in case you would have done some changes here, then your source file, there will be changes in the source file also. So basically you're overwriting a file. Right? So you don't need an explicit replace here in this case. Overwrites the file. Okay. So this is a simple example of data and set statement, right? So let me tell you that, okay, I want to copy like more than one, files from one library to the other. So let's say I want to copy about 5 different files from SAS Help into work library, or right. So if I want to do that, then I'll have to write the same data and set 5 times, right? Just imagine if you want to like copy, like there are about 50 files which are there in a particular library, and you want to move it to some other library in your work process, then you can't think of writing this code like 50 times. Am I right?
Yes.
So what do we do in that case? We use a procedure called as PROC copy, which what this PROC copy does is copies data sets from one library to another. Make a note here. Here you cannot create a copy of a dataset within the same library. It's only when you want to move them from one library to the other, only then you can use PROC copy. Okay. So what this PROC copy does is just write PROC copy. Then you'll have to specify the source library. You say in equal to the source library. So here the source library, let's say, is health, and okay, or rather let me take it as q1, and out equal to my destination library. So let me make that as work as my destination library, right? And I want to copy everything that is there in q1 into work, right? So I just say run. So firstly make note what is there in q1. In q1 I have 6 files: continents, credit underscore one, student info, US, United States, and USC records, right? So 6 files. So I should be getting 6 more files here under work, which makes it 9. So let me just run this. Yeah, can you see here under work library? So if you look at the log, also you can see the different files that it is copied. Correct? So that's how a PROC copy works. So, but what if you don't want to copy all the files? What if you want to copy just a few files? Like let's say I want to copy class underscore copy and cars underscore one from work to Q1. So what I'll do is, in now my source file is work, correct? My destination file is Q1, and now I use a select statement to specify the data sets that I want to copy. So I can say cars underscore one and class underscore copy. Right. So this way I can select only selected data sets from one library to the other using select statement. Okay. So if you see here in my log, you will see cars1 to q1.cars1. Similarly, the rest of them. So here I have cars underscore one and class underscore copy. Right? Similarly, can you just write a code for this? Copy here is same and cars and which is last bit. Net from class to water. Can you please write a code for this? Yeah. Let me know once it's done.
Yeah, I got. I got it.
Okay.
But I do not get this PRD sale.
Just open your code.
Okay. Oh, it is just sale. Oh, I did
Yeah.
sales.
So Sai, you got it?
Let me run it once. Can you see once I was directly getting a table?
That is the last table that is processed, copied, will open up. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Just refresh your library. You should be able to see all that you copied. Yeah, looks like it you got. And the best way to check is check your log window. In your log, you'll get all the details as to what has happened. Yeah. So that's how you use your PROC copy procedure to copy multiple files between libraries. Okay, but PROC copy will not help you if you want to do some manipulation on the files. It will just help you just copy file datasets between the libraries. Whereas data and set can be used for basic data manipulation. So the solution to this is PROC copy in equals to SAS help and out equals work, right? And then you use a select statement to specify the data set, cars, split, and commit. Yeah. So this is opening up the file that's copied. But if when I go and see here in my log, I see that all the data sets have been copied from here to my work library. Okay. So that's about it. So now let's see some basic data manipulation, right? So let's say like we have a data set, right? Like we created a particular data set in our first session, and we want to make some changes to the data set that we have created. So firstly, let me just go and rerun that particular code of the data set that we had created. So empdb, this was the one that made some changes here. Okay, let's say student ID. Okay, I'll just copy this. So I just put this in uh, my work library. I'll just rerun this so that I create this. Okay, so if this is a data set that we have, and I want to make some changes onto the data set. So let's say I want to change, I want to add I want to change the name of a variable. So for example, I have this variable called as course, right? Right? So I want to change it to something else like, course name. Right? So how do I do that? So that's called as renaming the variable. Correct. So how is that done? Data destination file. So let's say student info one, or let me say info underscore rename, right? Set source file, that is student info. So see guys, I'm working mainly on the work library here. So that is the reason I'm not using a library name before this. If you're using any other library, then you have to always specify the library name and then the data set name. I hope that is clear.
Yeah.
So don't get confused about that. So right, so here we write data source file set, data destination file set source file, and then we write the option. We write the statement that we want to use to rename it. So that is the rename statement, right? Rename, we specify the variable name which is currently there, and we give the new name that we want to assigned to it, right? So let's say course equals course name. Yeah, so now when my table opens up, you will see the course has been renamed to course name. Correct? And where is this change happened? It has happened in student info underscore rename. So if I do a proc print of both the files, proc print data equals info proc print data equals info underscore rename. So you will be able to see the difference. Yeah, can you see here? See, my student info has got course as it is, but the new file that I created, that is where the change happens. Course underscore name. Yeah. So that's how you can use a data and set statement to make certain data manipulation. And here we have seen how do we rename a variable, right? So let's say we want to assign a label to a variable.
Uh,
Yes, Anusha, any doubt?
yeah, actually, you renamed the file and you made the changes, right? I mean, you created a new data set again. I mean, just,
Yes, yes.
I mean,
If you want to do it in the same dataset, you can do. You just need to
oh, okay.
remove this part.
Okay, for
Then
comparison.
basically it will overwrite with the new
Okay.
value.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I don't want to overwrite, so I'm creating a
Mm-hmm.
new dataset,
Okay, okay.
right? So you can always add a title in case you want to get clarity on which dataset you are printing. So next is we'll be seeing how do you label a particular variable. So first of all, what is the difference between renaming a variable and labeling a variable?
Renaming is changing the name.
Yeah, correct.
Is that labeling? I think. I don't know. Naming or something like that.
Yeah, quite close. Sai?
I think it's highlighting of
Yeah, so basically labeling is adding a description to the variable.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does is label adds description to the variable name. So let me open a dataset for you and show it to you here. So let me open this dataset student for itself, right? So here if you see on the left hand side grid, when I highlight this variable, you will see there is name and label are the same here in this case.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't explicitly specify a label to a variable, then whatever is the name, that is what it assumes to be the label also,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's see how we can assign a label to it wherein it adds a description to it, the variable name. So sometimes there are variable names like we had like DOJ for date of joining, right? We had a short form, DOB for date of birth. Sometimes it's not very clear as to what exactly is that short form for that variable. So you can add a label so that you give a description to that variable name. So how is that done? Is data again info underscore label. I'm creating a different data set. I'm just not overwriting it. You can also overwrite if you're okay if you're using the original data set. And then we use a label statement and the variable that you want to label. So let's say student is STUD ID, right? So we want to give a description to this. So I give the variable name to which I want to add the description. And after that, in quotes, I specify whatever description I want to give. You can't directly give it the name because it might have special characters, it might have spaces in it, so it has to be always in quotes. So it is, let's say, student serial ID, right? So what happens now? Let's just see. Let me just do a proc print of it. Or rather, I'll just show you in this code first. Yeah, so in this output data set now, when I highlight this ID, student ID, can you see there is a different value for the label? Your variable name will be the same, student underscore ID only, but it's just that there is a description given to that label. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
So let's just see how we can use a proc print to see this result. Proc print data equals info underscore label run. So when I run this code, this will give me a proc print. But do you see the label here?
No,
Or do you see the variable name?
only the variable name.
Yeah, so the label is not appearing. So in case you want to see the label value, basically if you want to see the description of that variable and not the variable name, what you have to do is for your proc print code, you have to use an option that is there, which is called as label. So after your data equal to, use an option called label. So what this does is, wherever there are labels, it will print the labels and not the variable name.
Okay.
So with label option. So let me just run this and show you. Can you see now?
Okay.
So here the variable name is not getting printed, but it is the label that is getting printed.
What if we want both?
You can't have both, right? You can have just one value here,
Okay.
right?
Okay, okay.
So you either print the labels or you print the variable name. Okay, so that was about using rename and label statements in order to make certain changes to your data set. Okay. So now let's come to the next part here, that is, uh, how do we,
I have a
uh,
question.
yes please?
If we need to change the label name for two variables, can we write it continuously or we need to mention it two times?
Yeah, you can write here, like, let's say name equals
Okay.
student name. Let's just try this. Yeah, can you see?
Mm.
So the same thing goes with rename also. If you want to rename multiple variables, you can write them serially along with it in the sentence itself. Yeah. So I have a small reading task for you. So you can just read about it for next class. Read about using rename and label as options in dataset. So here what we have seen is we have seen us using it as a statement. So when we write it here, it's called a statement. When you write it along with your data or your set, it is called as a option. So just read about how we can use it here and not as a statement. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So going ahead, what we'll be doing now is we'll be using some furthermore options, keep and drop options to manipulate data. So what this keep and drop options do is, let's say we have a data set which is a very big data set. So for example, let's take cars data set. So it has got 15 variables, correct? And out of which you have got variable like invoice, MSRP, you have mileage in city, you have mileage on highway, then you have the wheelbase, length of the car, engine size, how many cylinders does it have, so many information, so much other information you have. Let's say you are expected to do analysis on the uh, rate of the car, that is the amount of the car, that is invoice and MSRP, correct? So when you want expected to do certain specific analysis, so a lot of other variables you might not need, correct? So in that case, you would like to get a smaller data set and focus on only the required variables. So out of 50 variables, if you are interested in working only on like 10 variables, there is no point working on the larger data set, correct? So we can use different options like keep and drop in order to just retain certain set of variables in a data set. So how does that work? It's very simple. So the way you say is data, again, destination file, let's say cars underscore keep, right, 1, and set source file, that is, let me take it from SAS help.cars, for example, and you say run. So here, what you do is you use a keep option. So here, within bracket, you write keep equal to, and you specify the variables that you want to retain in your cars underscore keep one data set. So for example, I want to just retain model, make, invoice, and MSRP. These are the only 4 variables that I'm interested in, so I want to keep only these. So as the name suggests, keep will just retain only these variables into this destination file. So let's see how that works. Yeah. So if you see now, my new dataset cars underscore keep one has got only 4 variables and all the observations.
It is similar to the yesterday thing in
correct.
where
Yeah,
I think.
yes, it is like where, but in where you're not making any when you do a PROC print, you're not making any changes in the fundamental data set. The changes are appearing only on the printed report.
I did not get you.
See, when you do a PROC, the difference between this, I'm writing a code like this: PROC print data equals as head PROC cars, where model, make, invoice, MSRP, and run. So what's the difference between this and the code above? See, here also you just get only the 4 variables that you wanted. So the difference is, there is no changes that is happening on this file. Correct. So SAS help.cars will have all 15 variables. Right. So if I open it, but what it is printing is, it is printing only 4 variables.
Okay, in this we can just only read, and in that we can read and write, right?
Yes, or rather, in this the data set itself is changing. So let us say if the size of your data set was like 1 MB. Okay, for example. Here, by using the PROC print, the size of the data set is not changing because the data set structure is the same. Just what you're printing is different. Whereas here, we are creating a new data set, which is having only 4 variables. So there is a change that has happened to the data set itself.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, so for example, here I'll just elaborate this example. So let's say proc print data equals cars underscore keep one run, right? Proc print data equals cars underscore keeper, and after I will say health.cars. I will write one more, so this is the one that we have written. So what will be the difference between these three? Rather, let me just write this first. See, when I do a proc print of all my variables will be printed in the second case. Correct. So in this case, when I print all, there are only 4 variables to be printed.
Okay, yeah.
Getting it? Because the data set itself has 4 variables. Correct?
Yeah, I got you.
So there is a change that has happened into the data set. So let's say, for example, if this was a 1 MB file, then probably here it is only
some KB.
Half of it, right? So something like that. So that's how you use a keep option. Similarly, let's say if you want to drop certain variables, so that's again same, but we just use the drop option here. Drop equals. So what drop does is exactly opposite of what keep does. Right? So the variables that you've specified, or rather I can even use cars one. So the variables that you have specified will be deleted or omitted from this data set. So how many variables will be there in cars underscore drop one? So totally we have 15 variables. 5. So they should be 10 variables in data set. Okay. Yeah. So now you see you've got only 10 variables. Clear? So in case you have got you want to retain many variables, if you have 50 variables and you want to retain 40 variables, then it doesn't make sense writing a keep and writing 40 variables. That you might as well just write a drop and write 10 variables. Okay? So, but if you want to keep only 5 variables, then you can use a keep and specify the 5 variables that you want to write. Correct? So that is about using keep and drop. But there's one more part to it. So here we have used keep and drop option along with a data statement. So let's see if we can use using keep and drop options with set statement. Let's see if we can do that. So basically what we'll be doing is we will be writing a keep and drop in a set statement and not a data statement. Okay, so here I will not write it here, but I will write it here in my set statement. And similarly, I will write it here. Okay. So let's see if this works. I'll make it S2. Yeah, so if you see, this has worked. We have drop 2 and keep 2. So, which is done the exact same job. So, this data set has got 10 variables and keep 2 should be having 4 variables, correct? So, what we conclude is we can use keep and drop either with data statement or set statement, right? But logically speaking, I mean, the result is the same. There's no difference, correct? But there is a difference in the way it processes. Can you try and guess how? What would be the difference?
I think the source file gets also manipulated.
No, in either case, source file is not going to be manipulated. So that is
Yeah.
the crux of it. So there will be no change in the source file. Otherwise, it does not serve the purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is in the way it processes the data.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens here in this case is, I'll just explain it with keep. Uh, that is in case of keep 1, wherein we had it with a data statement. Yes, what happens is the way it processes internally, it will copy the entire SAS.cars into cars underscore keep 1. It will copy all the 15 variables and all the observations obviously into cars underscore keep 1, and then based on the keep statement it will just whatever variables are specified here, it will keep them and delete the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Sai, I hope you're following me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what it does is all 15 variables are copied and then it does a keep option, wherein it just retains these 4 variables and deletes the rest of them. Okay, how it does here when you write it in a set statement is it will not copy the entire data set. While copying itself, it will just use this keep statement. Only the 4 that you want, it will copy it into cars underscore keep 2.
Okay.
Right? So the end result is the same, but just the way it operates. So obviously it is evident which is more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is more efficient here?
The SAS writing it in the source code. I mean,
Exactly. In your set statement is more efficient because it is not copying unnecessary data, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain situations wherein you might not be able to use it in set statement. Like if you're we will see further. If you're creating a new variable and you can't use it in a set statement, that time you'll be forced to use it in a data statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But the idea is you can use it in both the cases. Okay, and also it can be used as a statement all by itself, both keep and drop. I'm just showing an example with keep here. So you can actually remove it from here. You can use it as a statement the way we use rename as a statement. So just write as a separate statement. Similarly, keep and drop as statement. Yeah? So this also works. Oh, okay, just that you don't have to give an equal to here. Yeah. So similarly, you can use drop also as a statement. So that's about keep using keep and drop. So if you could just write a code here, I'll just give a simple question for you to solve. Um, That's it for this.
Okay, which library isn't in? It has help, right?
Let me just check once. I'm not sure. It should be. It should be. I don't know where I copied this from. Wait a minute. Uh, Sorry, this data set is elsewhere. So let me just give you another data set to work on. Let's just keep it simple. Where is this? So can I just write the code for these?
Can you show me the code for renaming? I forgot it.
Okay, no problem. I just paste those questions on the chat window. That
I got the first two, but
yeah, I just scroll up so you can see the rename code. So basically, you can use rename and label in the same code. You don't have to write two separate codes for it. The way we did here. Yeah, so this is label, you can see here, and the above one is rename.
okay.
Let me know once it's done, please.
I'm sorry?
Sally, is it done?
I was just looking for the question for the rename option.
Okay, I pasted it into your chat window. You can just check it out there.
Okay.
Um, I'm not getting the label part.
Okay, if you can share your code window, I'll just look into it.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks fine. Just run
I'm
this
sorry?
code. The
Okay.
code looks fine. Just run it.
It is again showing name.
No, that's okay. Just highlight this name on the left hand side. Highlight that. So
Oh,
here,
okay, okay. Yeah.
the better way to
Okay.
check is just write a proc print with label option. Then you can check.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got the first two as well.
Well, I think the second question is without weight and height variables.
Oh, without?
The first one is with, the second one is without.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think you'll have to use the drop option there.
Yeah. But I'm getting weight and height in blue.
That's okay. Some
Okay,
variable names are some keywords, you know. So that
okay.
Sai, did you get it? Okay, take it. So what you can do is we'll just take a 5-minute break
Yeah, okay.
and connect up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi Anusha. Hi Sai. Are you guys there?
Hi.
Yeah, hi Anusha. Sai, are you there?
Yeah.
So you got the solution for all these three questions?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are pretty simple. So you've mentioned the destination file, um, and you mentioned the source file class, correct? And then you can use it in a statement or an option or whichever way you want it. Name, age, and height. So I'm using it as statement. So similarly, you just write here that for class 2, you just need to drop weight and height. Okay, so this will do. And then I just say class new as help.cars. I will rename the set variable, uh, and then in the same place I can use a label also. So label minus label to the variable. So, and how can you check this? Is by using the PROC print with label option. Correct? So this is the solution to the above code. And let's do one more. Okay, before we continue from here, I would like to show you that we can do some basic kind of data manipulation here. That is create a new variable. So how can we do that? So for example, as I was saying that let's say you're working on a data set and you you're just interested in quite a few variables and you want to you want to create a new variable also. So for example, let's just take cars data set itself, cars. Okay, so here I've got a lot of variables. I've got about 15 variables, but I just want to keep just a few variables. That is, let's say, keep equals make invoice model invoice and MSRP. Okay. And here I want to create a new variable. Basically, I want to see what is the difference in amount between the invoice amount and the MSRP amount. Okay. So what I will do is I create a new variable difference in amount. So this is my new variable name. Diff amount is the new variable name that I'm creating, right? And difference is a simple mathematical computation. You just do a minus between the two. So MSRP minus invoice. Right, since I'm using a keep statement, I have to in order to see the result, I must use this new variable also in my keep statement. Okay. The difference amount is a new variable that I'm creating. So in this example, it can be anything. You can just give any name. If you want to give it as ABC, you can give it as ABC. That will be the variable name. That's all. Right? Is the new variable that is created here. It is the difference between MSRP and invoice. Okay. So let's just run this code. Let's see how this works. Yeah. So here you have make model MSRP invoice and you have difference amount. So the difference between MSRP and invoice here is 3,608, 2,059, so on and so forth. Right? Okay. Okay. So I'll just give you a quick question, quick and a very simple question. You don't have to use keep the way I've used it, but just create a uh, variable invoice underscore INR. Okay, with 1 let's assume that it's in USD, 1 USD, go less than that, 65. Okay, can you write a code for that, please? So you don't have to use keep here. So basically everything will be the same except for this part of the code, and here you will have your new variable creation equation. Let me know once you're done.
Voice is in rupees or dollars right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying like invoice variable here, like I'll show you. So invoice here is, let's say it's in USD, right?
Yeah.
So in order to convert it into INR, I have to multiply it with whatever is
Yeah.
the conversion rate.
I was just
It's just simple multiplication.
I'm not getting it.
Not really, I'll just help you with this. Data destination file. So you can just give any name to it. I'll say INR. Okay. Set source file as a result card. This much is clear, and then you will have your run. Okay, but I want to create a new variable from my existing variable. So what I do is invoice underscore INR is a new variable name. Right? So here my invoice value will be in INR. So what I have to do is invoice
into
65.
into 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will create another variable invoice underscore INR in my data set, which is cars underscore INR. So if you see here, yeah, here I have. So now my total number of variables is 16 in this particular data set. Correct?
Yes.
So now you realize the importance of giving a different name for a destination file, because when you start making changes, you don't want to overwrite and lose the data. Correct? So I'll just make a small change here. I will just add certain things to this existing code, and I don't want you to run it straight away underscore 1, but I just want you to analyze it and tell me what will be the result. Job equals invoice job equals. What will be the result of this code?
Okay, invoice. I mean, the which one is in USD? Oh, no, 1 second.
Don't worry, take your time.
Okay, first it takes only keep in, I mean, invoice which is in USD.
Okay.
Then it multiplies with 65 and then drops the invoice which is in USD and displays only in the INR price.
Yeah, so my final destination cars underscore INR underscore 1 will have how many variables?
15.
15 variables. Okay, Sai, how about you?
I go with Tanisha.
Okay, so let's see, let's run this code. Yeah, Anusha, you explained it perfectly well. What you
But
explained is
in the
absolutely right.
other way.
Yeah, but the way you put up your answer was not right. So,
Mm.
firstly, what it does, as you said, it keeps only invoice. So, out of my
Oh,
15, it is keeping only one, right?
yeah.
And as you said, then it will do multiplication of this and it will create a new variable. So, there are going to be two variables
Mm.
here in my new data set.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm saying
Mm.
drop. So, finally, I'll be left with only
Okay.
one variable.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, now let's go ahead and see if we can use first OBS and OBS options in and set statements. So, what will be the difference again in using first OBS and OBS in a proc print and using it in a data and set?
I mean, it displays only from the given numbers of
Hmm.
given number of observations.
Hmm.
First OBS is the starting one, and OBS is the last one.
That's right. So what we're saying here is, let's say data. I'll just give one. Let's say class underscore first OBS for uh, and I'll just say set as health of class, right? And here, let's say I use first OBS is equal to 5, OBS is equal to 10. Okay, and then I'll use something like this, data, or rather, print data equals stack health dot cars, first OBS is equal to 5 and OBS is equal to 10. Right. So what's the difference in the result of these two codes? What's the difference in using it here in a proc print and using it here in a data and set statement?
In the first case, we are creating another data set.
Yes. So here the new data set will have only the 6
Yeah.
observations. Whereas in this case, it is just extracting those observations and displaying it. Right? There's the same difference between the way you have the difference in using a var and using a keep and draw. Got it? Yeah, so let's just run this first of all and let's see how this works. Oops, sorry, I can't use it here. I have to use it only in set statement. So if you can see, the option first OBS is not valid in this context. Correct? Because I can't use it in this particular uh, statement. I have to use it in set statement only. It is not like keep and draw. Yeah, so now you see the now new resultant dataset will have only 6 observations, that is from the 5th observation to the 10th observation of that source file. Right? Whereas this code is giving you just a print result of it. Right? So I can give you the difference. It's just giving a print result of it and is not making any changes to the dataset. Here, a new dataset is being created. Right? So that's the difference. But you can also use first OBS and OBS with your set statement in data and step. So obviously you can't, we have seen you can't use it with your data statement. Yeah. So, can be used only in set statement. So that's about using the first OBS and OBS options in a data and set statement also. So what we have seen so far is how we can select certain set of variables and how we can select certain set of observations based on the number of the observations using keep, drop, first OBS and OBS. And we've also seen how do we create a new variable with certain computations, correct? And we have seen how do we rename and label particular variables in a data set. Okay. So in our next class, we'll be going ahead and we'll be seeing, see, if you notice, first OBS and OBS are of no great help. Correct. I mean, what is the point just extracting based on a number line? But it will be of great help if you can extract observations based on a certain condition. Right?
Can you repeat the statement, please?
See, let's take this example of class data set, right? So what is the point of extracting only those observations which are from a certain like 5th to 10th? It is not so useful. But if you have an option of selecting only the male students in the class or only those students whose ages are more than 12,
Okay.
correct? If you can use certain conditions to select, then it will be more useful, correct? So how we can do that is by using conditional statements.
Okay.
So we will be doing that in tomorrow's class. So let's call it a day for now. And please try and read how we can use rename and label as a part of option.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure.
And try a couple more examples. So let me see if I can leave you with a question. Well, I think you've solved enough questions for whatever topics we have done today. So when are we connecting up next is on Wednesday, right? So
Yes.
earlier I told Nanda Kishore that Wednesday will not be having it because of Diwali, but again we'll be having it. Let us have a class on Wednesday, same time, okay? But we will not be having it on Saturday. I mean my Sunday.
Okay.
So we'll not have class on next Saturday, but we'll have it on Wednesday.
Sure.
Okay. So
Okay.
let's meet up on Wednesday. And in the meantime, I will try and share a very simple exercise with just a couple of questions. Please try and solve that as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sai, I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
And any doubts, anything, any feedback in the way the training is happening?
Actually, you're good for now. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, I mean, if you want me to go a little slow or a little fast, if you feel that I'm going very slow, then let me know. Or if you want some other changes, just feel free to give your
Yeah,
feedback at any point of
sure.
time. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah, we are
guys. Have a great time and a very happy Diwali.
Thank you. Wish you the same.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Well, sorry. One last thing. I hope you are able to access the videos that I'm sharing.
Actually, I did not start working out, so that's why I could not say
No,
anything.
no
So
problem. You can
I'll work
click,
out these.
just click on the link and see if it's working or not. That's all.
Okay, sure. I'll let
See,
you know by
they are
email.
private videos. I've just allowed your two students' email ID.
Okay.
So I just want to
Oh,
make sure that it's working fine. That's all.
yeah, sure. I'll let you know by email.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Good night.